24 of the best players in the world battling for a world championship.
24 of the best players in the world battling in a new draft format.
24 of the best players in the world battling to break standard.
There is nothing quite like Worlds.
Welcome to the news desk. On my left, Rich Hagan. I'm Maria Bartholdi. And on my right, member of R&D, Paul Chian. Paul, why don't you tell everyone what is so special about this event?
Well, basically, when as a professional, this is kind of the ultimate goal. This is the big show. Every top tier pro that I've talked to, whenever I talk about like, hey, what are your goals? Especially that last pro tour, it's like, I want to qualify for this tournament because this is the best of the best going at it, and a first place prize of $100,000. That is twice that of a pro tour. It is crazy the amount of time that I've talked to a lot of pros that were preparing for this event, and the amount of time that they've invested into preparing for this tournament. It's crazy.
Paul, is there a special skill set that you need to win this particular exclusive tournament?
Yeah, you have to be really good at Magic. Yeah, just
it helps.
A few words. No, but seriously, I think a lot of it is kind of very similar to Pro Tour preparation, where we're kind of using a different format this time, but it's people who are quicker at adapting to formats because the format's only been out for a couple of weeks, so people who can figure out what the important parts of kind of the limited format or what are the key cards in the constructed format, people who can adapt quicker are people who are kind of favored at Pro Tours.
And as you said, one of those things you need to be great at is limited, of course. Our very own Luis Scott Vargas and Marshall Sutcliffe are over at our video wall to tell us more.
Thank you, Maria. And so, Luis, we only get a couple of minutes. Normally we take about, what, an hour and a half to talk about this.
Complain when we take an hour and a half.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty on what makes this limited format tick. First things first, the tribes.
Yeah, Ixalan is a tribal format, and there's 4 main tribes, pirate, merfolk, vampires, and dinosaurs. And among them, they encompass actually 8 of the 10 color pairs. So
yeah, there are 2. The blue-white and the black-green kind of got left out there.
Right. They don't naturally form if you look in the tribal model, but those tribes really do define the format.
Right. And, do you have any sense right now for what the players might be favoriting as they come in, favoring?
I don't think that there's any specific tribe that's that far ahead. I think that the tribe that's open is the tribe you want to be in, which, I mean, that's kind of what the whole key to draft is.
Yeah, and that is actually the tricky part, though, right? Because if you are in a tribe, 2 color, let's say, and a neighbor is also in those 2 colors, you need to adjust. There's only room for so many of these at the draft table.
Right, and if for example, there's 2 people drafting vampires, then both of their decks are not going to end up all that good.
That's right. Now, the other thing that the players will have as far as questions coming in, and the thing that they're going to keep in their mind is the speed of the format. How fast is it?
This is a fast format. Two drops are very important. You're going to expect to have your opponents curve out most of the time you play against them, and even though there are, powerful 5 and 6 mana cards, among all the different tribes, you're really looking to get on the board quickly.
Yeah, and I've seen other cards gain value as a result of that. Things like combat tricks, the cheaper the better. When you're going to play a whole bunch of creatures against a whole bunch of creatures, which is what these tribal decks ultimately do, the person who can get the advantage in combat tends to come out ahead.
And cards like Vampire Zeal that cost 1 mana, these are the kind of cards that let you play 2 spells in the same turn, and we're going to talk about that a lot during the limited portion. That is how you win games of limited.
Yeah, is that the big tribal payoff for vampires? Or?
I don't want to spoil it for those Worlds competitors watching, so we'll wait and see.
Okay, well that gives you a short look at limited, a lot more to come, but now back to Rich at the news desk.
So that's draft. Each morning, Friday and Saturday, you'll see draft action. 24 of the best players in the world going at it with 40 cards. But Paul, 60 is where it's at when the trophy gets decided. Right. So what are you looking for when you're working your way through standard? What do you want out of a potential winning deck?
Well, the first thing you want to do is make sure that the first thing you're trying to do is kind of see if there's anything broken, right? If there's something that's just completely, just far and away better than any other strategy you can do, that's what you go for. But for the most part, at least my approach for a tournament like this would be to just have a good, solid deck. Know the ins and outs of that deck, and make sure I can get my edges unlimited, because I think that is the place where you can get the biggest edge when the format is new.
Well, for more of a constructed preview, let's head down to Tim Willoughby and Riley Knight down on the floor.
Well, Riley, obviously we've got a whole bunch of sets that have left Standard. Ixalan, the big new player in Standard. What kind of decks might we be expecting to see here in Standard?
Well, I mean, we have had a bit of a transformation with cards coming and going, but I think there's the old guard of Standard. These three big decks that I think are going to make a huge impact on this tournament. We've got Energy, whether it's going to be team or a 4-color Energy. We've got, of course, Ramming Up Red. This deck has run roughshod over the format for a long time. And Blue-Black Control has been sort of rising on the radars of many players here. So these are established decks. They're established archetypes. We've seen them before, but I mean, we could see other stuff. I mean, what are your sights set on here?
Well, I mean, the fact that we have got this whole new Ixalan set in the mix, the very first time that I cast a Savage Stomp with a dinosaur in play, I thought, this feels like a constructed level play. I would love to get a chance to see some of that, but equally, there's so much on the line in this tournament. I really do wonder whether or not we're going to see players taking a chance or perhaps playing it a little bit safe.
The really important thing to remember about this tournament, this is a $100,000 tournament. This is huge. And for some of the players, I mean, in their hearts and minds, they might be thinking to themselves, Tim, they might be saying, this isn't the time to take a risk. I need the raw power of 4-color Energy. I need the Scarab God. I need Long Tusk cover on my side. So, I mean, I'm not going to blame any players if they turn up wanting to play it safe with established, well-tuned, well-honed archetypes. But look, we're going to see how things shake out as this tournament continues.
Yeah, fingers crossed we'll see some new players, a little bit of old tech maybe, but one way or another, if you're going to win this tournament, you're going to have to be winning with a great Standard deck. It's going to be some exciting times. Back to you on the desk, Maria.
Thanks, Tim. Well, not only are 24 of the best players in the world here, the best 2 teams in the world are here as well. Our very own Brian David Marshall is here with a preview of the Team Series Final.
Thanks, Maria. Yeah, that's right. We had the introduction of the Pro Tour Team Series this year. Players on the Pro Tour assembled themselves into these little 6-player teams, and at the end of the year, the team with the most pro points, top 2 teams with the most pro points actually, got to play here at the World Championships in the Pro Tour Team Series Finals. And those teams were the Japanese powerhouse, Team Musashi, and the North American European Alliance that's known as Team Genesis. And what happens now is these teams are going to be playing Team Sealed. So what they've done is they were sequestered the other day. They opened up 2 sets of 12 booster packs of Ixalan to build their decks, and they're going to play against each other. They have a Team A and a Team B on each side, and I can tell you how those match up. These are some star-studded matchups here. For Team Musashi, we have in the AC Yuya Watanabe, the 2-time Player of the Year. He won the Player Championship in 2012. That, of course, eventually became what we call the World Championship. He's playing against 2010 Player of the Year Brad Nelson in the AC. Toruya Kukamai, a Grand Prix champion, one of the young, exciting players out of Japan. He's in the B seat. He's playing against Martin Mueller, the World Magic Cup champion from Denmark. And in the CC, we have a rematch of the Pro Tour Dragons of Tarkir finals. It's Hall of Famer Shota Yasaoka. Oh, by the way, Yuya Watanabe, also a Hall of Famer. Shota Yasaoka, 2-time Pro Tour top winner, against Martin Dang, the winner of that Pro Tour Dragons of Tarkir. If Martin hadn't won, we'd be saying 3-time winner, Shota Yasaoka. So that's pretty exciting as it is. Now we go down to the B team. Ken Yukihiro, multiple-time Pro Tour top 8 competitor. He's playing against Thomas Hendricks, who, of course, subbed in at the last Pro Tour for Michael Majors. We have Yuki Ichikawa playing against world champion Seth Manfield. And we have Kentaro Yamamoto, who also has been in the finals of a world championship, playing against Pro Tour champion Lucas Blahan. So 2 just star-studded teams, and what they're going to do is Team A is going to play Team A, as you know, as we just laid it out. If they win, the losing team is done. They have nothing else to do. Then we're going to play the Team B matchup. And then if the same team wins that, we have our Team Series winner. But if the team on the other side of the matchup wins, then the other team goes home, and the 2 winning teams will play one more round to determine who is the team champion from this last season on the Pro Tour. So pretty exciting. Can't wait to watch it, but we have a lot of individual magic to go through before we get there, right, guys?
It really is the most wonderful time of the year. It is Championship Eve here in Boston, and we cannot wait to unwrap all the Magic goodness over the next 3 days. Make sure you don't miss a thing. Rich, Maria, and Paul saying, welcome to Worlds.